Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily podcast about simple home skills. Today, we are going to learn how to talk about cooking easily. Cooking is a very creative and useful hobby for every single person. We will learn how to describe processes and many delicious ingredients. Please listen to our conversation and practice these useful English phrases now.
Hello, Anna. I am very excited to talk about cooking today. I cook almost every single day in my small and tidy kitchen. For me, cooking is the best way to relax after work. I love to smell the fresh herbs and the warm spices. It is much better than buying expensive and unhealthy fast food.
I agree completely because home cooking is very healthy and cheap. Before I start, I always read the whole recipe very carefully. I check if I have all the necessary tools and ingredients. Preparation is the most important part of a successful and tasty meal. I hate to start cooking and find that I have no salt.
What is the first thing you do before you start cooking? I always wash my hands very carefully with warm, soapy water. Then I put on my favorite blue apron to protect my clothes. I clear my wooden table to have a lot of space. Having a clean workspace helps me stay focused and very organized.
I usually turn on some happy music to create a good mood. Then I take out the sharp knives and the heavy frying pans. I put all the vegetables on the table to start the work. For a simple salad, I need cucumbers, red tomatoes, and onions. Using fresh and colorful vegetables is a great secret of cooking.
Do you prefer to use a gas stove or an electric one? I have a modern gas stove and I like it very much. It is very fast and I can control the temperature easily. I also use a large oven for baking delicious bread and meat. The oven makes my whole apartment smell like a professional bakery.
I have a simple electric stove, and it works very well too. It is very easy to clean after I finish my daily cooking. I also use a small microwave to heat up my leftovers quickly. Sometimes I use a slow cooker for making very soft beef soup. Technology makes our kitchen work much faster and more pleasant now.
What are the most important tools in your kitchen, Anna? I think a very sharp knife is the most essential tool. You need it to chop, slice, and dice your many vegetables. I also use a wooden cutting board for all my food. A good set of pans is also very important for frying.
I cannot live without my large metal pot for boiling pasta. I also use a small whisk for mixing the yellow eggs. A grater is very useful for making a lot of cheese. I have a collection of silver spoons for tasting my soup. Tasting the food is a very important step for every cook.
How do you organize your many different spices and dry herbs? I keep them in small glass jars on a high shelf. I have black pepper, sweet paprika, and some dried green basil. Spices add a lot of flavor and character to every meal. I always smell the spices before I add them to pot.
I also have a small garden on my window for herbs. I grow fresh green parsley, mint, and some spicy red chili. Fresh herbs make the food look very professional and very tasty. I cut the leaves with small scissors and put them on. It is a very simple way to improve any basic dish.
Do you follow recipes exactly, or do you like to experiment? I usually follow the recipe for the first time I cook. Then I add my own ideas and change some simple ingredients. For example, I might add more garlic or less white salt. Experimenting helps me find my own unique and personal cooking style.
I prefer to follow the instructions carefully to avoid any mistakes. Baking is a science, and you must measure everything very exactly. I use a digital scale to weigh the flour and sugar. If you add too much milk, the cake will be bad. Precision is very important for making perfect and sweet desserts.
I am not very good at baking cakes and sweet cookies. I prefer to cook savory dishes like spicy curry or pasta. I like to use a lot of onions and fresh garlic. Garlic makes every dish smell very strong and very delicious now. I fry the onions until they are soft and golden brown.
Frying onions is the best smell in the world for me. It means that a very good dinner is coming very soon. I also like the sound of meat sizzling in the pan. Cooking with all your senses makes the experience very rich now. You can see, smell, hear, and finally taste the food.
We have talked a lot about the beginning of the cooking process. Our listeners can learn many words about tools and simple habits. Learning words like recipe, ingredients, apron, and pan are useful. These words are used in every kitchen around the whole world. Let us move to the next part of our podcast.
In the second part, we will discuss the different methods. We will learn how to boil, fry, bake, and steam food. There are many ways to cook the same simple potato today. Each method gives the food a different texture and unique flavor. Stay with us to learn more culinary verbs and phrases.
I will also teach you how to talk about timing. It is important to know how long to cook the meat. Overcooking can make the food very dry and not very tasty. Timing is a skill that you learn with a lot of practice. Let us continue our journey through the delicious world of cooking.
Now, let us talk about the many ways to cook. The most common method is boiling something in hot water. I boil my eggs for exactly 10 minutes every single morning. This is also how we cook pasta, rice, and potatoes. Boiling is a very healthy way to prepare your daily food.
I prefer to fry my food in a little oil. Frying gives the food a very crispy and tasty skin. I fry my chicken until it is brown on both sides. You must be careful not to use too much hot oil. Healthy frying is possible if you use a good non-stick pan.
Have you ever tried to steam your fresh green vegetables? Steaming is the best way to keep all the healthy vitamins. I put the broccoli in a metal basket over boiling water. The vegetables stay bright green and they taste very fresh today. It is a very popular method for healthy and light diets.
I like to roast large pieces of meat in the oven. I put some oil and salt on the whole chicken first. Roasting takes a long time, but the result is very good. The meat becomes very soft and it falls off the bone. I also roast potatoes and carrots in the same large pan.
Baking is another very important method for our daily bread. I love to bake my own bread with seeds and nuts. You must knead the dough with your hands for 10 minutes. Then you let it rest in a warm place to grow. Baking your own bread is very satisfying and smells wonderful.
What is the difference between grilling the meat and frying the meat? Grilling is usually done over a very high and direct fire. It gives the meat a smoky flavor and dark lines. I love to have a barbecue with my friends in summer. We grill sausages, corn, and even some sweet, juicy peaches.
Do you know how to poach a fresh white egg? Poaching is cooking an egg without the shell in water. The water must be simmering but not boiling very hard today. It is a very difficult technique, but it looks very beautiful. I serve my poached eggs on a piece of toast.
I often use the sauté technique for my small vegetables. Sautéing means frying quickly in a little bit of very hot butter. I do this with mushrooms, onions, and some fresh spinach. The vegetables stay crunchy and they have a very rich flavor. It only takes a few minutes to cook them this way.
Sometimes I need to simmer a sauce for a long time. Simmering is cooking at a very low temperature very slowly now. This helps all the different flavors to mix together perfectly today. I simmer my tomato sauce for 1 hour for my pasta. A slow sauce is much better than a fast one.
What do you do when you want to thicken a sauce? I usually add a little bit of white corn flour. Or I let the liquid boil until it becomes very thick. A thick sauce sticks to the pasta much better than water. It is a very important skill for every home cook.
Have you ever marinated your meat before you start frying? I put the meat in a bowl with oil and spices. I leave it in the fridge for at least 4 hours. Marinating makes the meat very soft and adds a lot of flavor. It is a great way to prepare for a big dinner.
I always season my food with salt and black pepper. Seasoning is the most important part of any good cooking today. You should add a little bit and then taste the food. If it is not enough, you can add some more later. Never add too much salt at the very beginning of cooking.
How do you peel a very hot and boiled potato? I use a small knife or my fingers very carefully now. I also use a peeler for raw carrots and green apples. Peeling can be a very slow and boring task for many. I usually listen to a podcast while I peel my vegetables.
I also need to grate some cheese for my daily pasta. I use a metal grater and I am very careful now. Then I sprinkled the cheese over the hot tomato sauce today. The cheese melts and it looks very delicious on the plate. Melting cheese is the best part of many Italian dishes.
We have discussed many different and useful cooking methods today. Our listeners can use these verbs to describe their daily meals. Learning words like boil, fry, roast, and steam is essential. These actions happen in every kitchen around the whole world. Let us move to the next part of our podcast.
In the third part, we will talk about the ingredients. We will learn about vegetables, meat, dairy, and many different spices. Knowing the names of the products is very important for shopping. You need to know what to buy for your new recipe. Stay with us to grow your cooking and food vocabulary.
I will also teach you how to talk about quantities. Sometimes you need a spoon, a cup, or a gram. Measuring your food correctly is the key to perfect results. Your English will help you understand any international recipe very easily. Let us continue our journey through the world of food.
I am ready to talk about the fresh ingredients now. It is great to have a complete guide for our listeners. Practice your English every day and your confidence will grow fast. You can talk about your favorite food in English.
Now let us talk about the heart of every meal, the ingredients. Every great dish starts with fresh and high-quality products from the store. I usually buy my vegetables from the local farmer's market every Saturday. Fresh carrots, onions, and garlic are the base for many savory dishes. It is important to choose vegetables that are firm and very colorful.
I agree that fresh ingredients make a very big difference in taste. I always keep some basic items in my kitchen cupboards at home. I have white rice, dry pasta, and several cans of red tomatoes. These items help me cook a quick meal when I am busy. Having a good pantry is the secret to easy and fast cooking. Anna, what kind of oil do you prefer to use for cooking? I usually use extra virgin olive oil for my fresh green salads. For frying meat, I prefer to use sunflower or yellow vegetable oil. Some people like the taste of butter for frying their white eggs. Choosing the right fat is very important for the final food flavor.
I like to use coconut oil when I cook some exotic dishes. It has a very special smell and it is very healthy too. I also use a lot of dairy products in my daily recipes. I always have fresh milk, heavy cream, and some hard yellow cheese. Dairy adds a very rich and creamy texture to my vegetable soups.
Let us talk about the many different spices we use every day. I cannot imagine my kitchen without black pepper and sea salt today. I also love to use dried oregano and basil for Italian pasta. Spices are like magic because they change the taste of simple food. You should keep them in a dark place to stay fresh.
Do you like to eat very spicy food with a lot of chili? I enjoy adding a little bit of red chili to my curry. It makes the food warm and very exciting for my taste buds. I also use fresh ginger and yellow turmeric for a healthy boost. These ingredients are very good for your immune system in the winter.
I prefer more earthy spices like cumin, coriander, and brown cinnamon. I use cinnamon when I bake sweet apple pies or morning muffins. The smell of cinnamon always makes my home feel very cozy and warm. It's amazing how a small powder can bring so much joy. I also add a little bit of nutmeg to my potatoes.
What about the different types of meat and fresh white fish? I usually cook chicken breast because it is very lean and healthy. Sometimes I buy some fresh salmon to bake in the large oven. Fish is very good for your brain and your heart health today. I always squeeze some fresh lemon juice over my cooked fish. Do you eat a lot of red meat like beef or pork?
I eat red meat only once a week for a special dinner. I like to make a slow-cooked beef stew with many potatoes. The meat becomes very soft after 3 hours of very slow cooking. It is a perfect meal for a cold and rainy autumn day.
I am a vegetarian, so I do not eat any meat today. I get my protein from beans, lentils, and many different nuts. I love to make a thick lentil soup with some fresh carrots. Lentils are very cheap, and they are very easy to cook quickly. You can find many great vegetarian recipes on the global internet now.
Being a vegetarian is a very interesting and healthy life choice, Ben. I also love to use tofu in my Asian-style frying pan dishes. Tofu is like a sponge because it absorbs all the spicy flavors. I fry it with some soy sauce and a little honey. It is a very fast and very delicious way to eat.
Do you use any special types of flour for your home baking? I usually use all-purpose white flour for my simple bread and cakes. Sometimes I mix it with some whole grain flour for more fiber. Whole grain flour makes the bread a bit heavier but very healthy. I also like to add some sunflower seeds to my dough.
I use almond flour when I want to bake something gluten-free today. It is more expensive, but it has a very nice nutty taste. I also use honey or maple syrup instead of white sugar. Natural sweeteners are much better for your energy levels during the day. Healthy baking is a very popular trend in the modern world.
How do you store your fresh green herbs like parsley and dill? I put them in a glass of water like beautiful flowers. Then I place the glass inside my fridge to keep them fresh. This way, the herbs stay green and crispy for many long days. Fresh herbs are the best decoration for any plate of food.
I also freeze some herbs in small ice cubes with olive oil. When I cook, I just drop 1 cube into the pan. It is a very convenient way to have fresh flavors all year. You can do the same with small pieces of fresh garlic. Preparation and storage are very important parts of the cooking process.
We have described many different and useful ingredients for our listeners today. Our students can now talk about their favorite spices and fresh products. Learning words like poultry, dairy, herbs, and grains is very helpful. These categories help you find everything in a large English supermarket. Let us move to the fourth part of our interesting podcast.
In the fourth part, we will discuss the final meal presentation. We will learn how to set the table and serve food. Professional chefs say that we eat with our eyes first today. A beautiful plate makes the food taste even better for everyone. Stay with us to learn about the art of serving food.
I will also teach you how to talk about the taste. Is the food salty, sweet, sour, or maybe a bit bitter? Describing the flavor is important when you eat with other people. It helps you express your opinion about the delicious meal clearly. Let us continue our journey through the beautiful world of cooking.
The food is ready, and now it is time for serving. I like to put the food on large white ceramic plates. White plates make the colorful vegetables look very bright and tasty. I always wipe the edges of the plate to look clean. Presentation is a very important part of the dining experience now.
I usually set the table with a nice, clean cotton tablecloth. I put the forks on the left and knives on right. The spoon for the soup goes next to the sharp knife. I also use some cloth napkins for a more formal feeling. A well-set table makes the dinner feel like a special event.
Do you use any special decorations for your dinner table today? I like to put a small candle in the middle. Sometimes I add a small vase with some fresh garden flowers. Soft lighting creates a very relaxed and very pleasant atmosphere for guests. It is important to feel comfortable while you eat your meal.
When I serve the food, I always say, "Bon appetit," or I simply say, "I hope you enjoyed this meal today." My guests usually start by smelling the delicious and warm food. Then they take the first bite and look at me happily. It is the best moment for every person who cooks.
How do you describe the taste of the food you eat? If there is a lot of salt, I say it is salty. If it has a lot of sugar, it is sweet. Lemons and green limes have a very sharp and sour taste. Some dark chocolates and coffee can taste a little bit bitter.
I love food that has a very strong and spicy taste. When I eat chili, my mouth feels very hot and tingly. Some people find this feeling very uncomfortable, but I love it. I also like the savory taste of meat and mushrooms now. In English, we often call this special savory taste umami today.
What about the texture of the food in your mouth? I like bread that is very crunchy on the outside now. Inside, the bread should be very soft and a bit fluffy. Some vegetables, like carrots, are very hard and crunchy when raw. After cooking, they become very soft and very easy to eat.
I do not like food that is too greasy or oily. Too much oil makes the meal feel very heavy and unhealthy. I prefer my fried chicken to be crispy, but not oily. The perfect texture is a balance between different types of sensations. A good cook thinks about both the flavor and the texture.
Is the soup too thick or is it a bit watery? I prefer a thick and creamy soup made with many potatoes. A watery soup does not feel very satisfying for my hunger. You can add some cream to make the texture more smooth. Smooth and creamy textures are very popular for many winter soups.
What do you say when the food is very delicious? I usually say, "This tastes amazing," or "This is absolutely delicious." You can also say, "The flavors are perfectly balanced in this." Positive comments are the best reward for a very tired cook. It shows that you appreciate the hard work in the kitchen.
What if the food is not very good or too salty? You should be very polite and not hurt the person's feelings. You can say, "It is a bit too salty for me," or say, "The meat is a little bit tough to chew." Constructive feedback helps the cook to improve their skills for later.
How do you serve the drinks during a nice dinner? I offer my guests some cold water or some red wine. I pour the drinks into tall and clean glass glasses carefully. I always ask, "Would you like some more water, please, now?" Being a good host means taking care of every small detail.
I usually serve a small dessert after the main course. It can be some fresh fruit or a piece of cake. Sweet things help to finish the meal in a happy way. I also offer some hot coffee or a cup of tea. Hot drinks are very good for the digestion after a meal.
Do you like to eat your dinner in front of TV? I prefer to sit at the table and talk to people. Having a conversation is a very important part of the meal. We talk about our day, our plans, and our many hobbies. Eating slowly and talking helps you enjoy the food much more.
I agree that we should avoid distractions while we are eating. The television makes us eat much faster and we do not taste. Focusing on the food helps you feel full much more quickly. It is a very healthy habit for your body and mind. Mindful eating is the best way to enjoy your home cooking.
We have discussed serving, table manners, and many different food tastes. Our listeners can now describe their meals using many interesting adjectives. Learning words like crispy, savory, bitter, and texture is very useful. These words make your English sound much more natural and very rich. Let us move to the final part of our podcast.
In the fifth part, we will discuss the kitchen cleanup. We will learn about washing dishes and tidying the kitchen area. No one likes this part, but it is very necessary today. A clean kitchen is ready for the next delicious cooking adventure. Stay with us for the final part of our series.
I will also share some tips on how to save leftovers. It is important to avoid wasting food in our modern world. Knowing how to store food safely is a very great skill. Let us finish our cooking journey with some very practical advice. I'm ready to talk about the final kitchen tasks.
The dinner is finished, and now we must clean the kitchen. I always start by clearing all the plates from the table. I put the leftover food into small plastic containers for tomorrow. It is important to put the food in the fridge quickly. Keeping the food cold prevents it from going bad very fast.
I do not like washing the dishes by my own hands. I am very lucky because I have a modern dishwasher machine. I put the plates, forks, and glasses into the machine carefully. Then I add a small soap tablet and turn it on. It saves me a lot of time and a lot water.
I do not have a dishwasher, so I wash everything. I use hot water and a lot of lemon-scented soap. I start with the glasses because they are the cleanest items. Then I wash the plates, and finally the dirty frying pans. Washing dishes can be a very quiet and relaxing time.
What do you do with the very dirty and oily pans? I let them soak in hot soapy water for 30 minutes. This makes the burnt food much easier to scrub away later. I use a metal sponge for the most difficult and dark. You must be careful not to scratch the non-stick surface.
After washing, I dry everything with a clean cotton tea towel. I do not like to leave the dishes wet on rack. Then I put everything back into the cupboards and the drawers. A tidy kitchen makes me feel very calm and very happy. I like to see the empty and clean kitchen counters.
I also wipe the stove and the table with a cloth. I use a special spray to kill all the kitchen bacteria. It is important to keep the cooking area very clean today. Dirty kitchens can attract small insects and some very bad smells. Hygiene is the most important rule for every home cook.
Do you take out the rubbish every single night, Ben? I take out the bin if it is full of food. I separate the plastic, the paper, and the glass for recycling. Recycling is a very good way to help our beautiful planet. I also have a small bin for the organic food waste.
I also recycle my waste because it is very responsible today. Then I sweep the floor to remove all the small crumbs. Sometimes I mop the floor with some fresh-smelling liquid. A clean floor is the final step of my cleaning routine. Now the kitchen is ready for my breakfast tomorrow morning.
Let us talk about how to use the leftover food correctly. I often use the leftover chicken to make a fresh salad, or I can make a simple sandwich for my work lunch. Reusing food is a great way to save a lot of money. You should never throw away good food if you can.
How long can you keep cooked meat in the fridge? I usually keep it for only 2 or 3 days today. If I cannot eat it, I put it in freezer. The freezer can keep the food safe for several long months. I always write the date on the plastic bag clearly.
I also freeze my vegetable soups in small individual portions. It is very convenient when I don't have time. I just heat the soup in the microwave for 5 minutes. It is like having a healthy, fast food in my home. Freezing is a very smart way to manage your meals.
Do you have any tips for removing the smell of garlic? I wash my hands with some cold water and stainless steel, or I use some fresh lemon juice on my smelly fingers. Garlic is delicious, but the smell stays for a long time. These simple tricks help me stay fresh after my cooking.
That is a very useful and funny tip for our listeners. I also open the windows to let the cooking smells out. Fresh air is the best way to clean the apartment atmosphere. I like the smell of my home to be very neutral. A clean kitchen should not smell like onions all night.
We have finished our long journey through the world of cooking. Our listeners have learned many verbs for cooking, serving, and cleaning. They can now describe their whole kitchen routine in simple English. Practice makes perfect, so try to speak while you cook. Every small sentence helps you become a better English speaker.
I am very happy that we could share our secrets today. Cooking is a skill that brings people together and creates joy. I hope our listeners feel inspired to try a new recipe. Do not be afraid of making a small mess in kitchen. The results are always worth the work and the time.
What is your final piece of advice for our dear listeners? I say enjoy the process and do not hurry in kitchen. Cooking is an art and it needs a lot of love. If you cook with love, the food will taste much better. Your friends and family will feel your care and attention.
My final advice is to keep your kitchen tools very sharp. Sharp knives are safer and they make the work much easier. Also, keep learning new words about food every single day. The more you know, the more interesting your cooking becomes. English is a great tool for finding new international recipes.
Thank you, Anna, for this wonderful and very delicious podcast. It was a pleasure to talk about food and kitchens today. I'm going to cook a nice dinner for myself now. I feel very hungry after all our talk about food. Goodbye for now, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you too, Ben, for your great energy and ideas. I am also going to have some tea and a snack. We will be back soon with another exciting and useful topic. Remember to practice your English and cook some healthy food. Your progress is very important, and we are very proud.
Goodbye, everyone, and happy cooking to all of you today. Stay healthy, stay positive, and keep speaking English with us. We believe in your success in your bright future goals. See you very soon in the next part of podcast. Have a wonderful and very tasty day today. Goodbye.